Welcome everyone to our monthly, bi-monthly What's New at SmartSuite event. This is one of the more anticipated days for our team that's been working hard over the last 4 to 6 weeks on lots of new customer requested features. Let me share here and we'll get rolling with a couple of things. First off, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we communicate all of our What's New features on the What's New page on SmartSuite. So if you just go to smartsuite.com/what's-new, you'll see a listing of every feature based on requests from you from some of the past webinars. We are now including a demo of each individual feature included on this page that you can reference back to at any time. So you can scroll through here and see the dates of the releases, the features, and then you'll notice there's a learn more, and the learn more takes you in directly into the help text with all of the details if you have interest on a particular feature that's there. It's a little hidden on the website on how you get there right now, but you click on platform and you click on what's new. We are updating this over the next week to have the what's new in lots of places so you can better know how to get here. You'll also see references in the products under what's new will now take you to this new page that's here. If you have additional feedback on what we can do to make it easier for you to understand new features or the content or layout of this, please respond back to us or even in the comments today and let us know. But we've also enhanced the descriptions to be a little more descriptive so you can find right out of the gate what the feature is about. And if it's interesting, click on the video to get the full detail that's there. All right, to kick things off today, like Rick said, we have quite a number of things that we're going to show off here on the feature side, and then we're going to show you a sneak peek of what's becoming the largest feature set that we've ever released that's going to happen towards the end of August, in a new concept around pages and the way you can create custom pages inside of SmartSuite that look more like web pages from a design perspective. So to get things kicked off, let's start with share dashboards. So I'm going to go into an account and I'm going to click risk management, risk register. And I'm going to show you just a typical dashboard that companies use that are using SmartSuite to manage risk that's here. You'll now notice that we have the share capability is available on dashboards. You have quite a few settings here on the share that you can enable, including restricting access with the passcode. We have new features that will be coming out in probably the 6 to 8 week time frame that will give you additional options on how you can have users authenticate or require a particular email domain to be able to log in or to use two-factor authentication that's here. But once you've enabled this, you can now allow your customers, clients, whoever it might be, to view the dashboard in real time. And you'll see charts and graphs and all the details that are in here. You can determine if users can click to drill in to see details, or if you limit them to just seeing the information that you display on the page that's here. And lots of fun features that we'll be releasing here in 4 to 5 weeks. We'll be adding lots of new widget types for you to take advantage of as you're sharing. Also note that the data that's on this page is in real time. So as updates are made in SmartSuite, they are updated in real time for the client. So if they're viewing the dashboard, you make updates, you'll see those come through immediately for you. In this case, we've turned on a feature that's in beta that we're playing that we'll be announcing later that shows the ability to add tabs inside of dashboards as well. That's here, so you can see that users can flip back and forth and consume quite a bit of information inside the context of one shared dashboard that we have. So that's a big one. I know that's been a feature request that we've been hit by hundreds and hundreds of folks. We're happy to have the first part of this release, and stay tuned for all the fun new widget types that are coming very soon. Next up, we're going to talk about forms. Quite a number of updates on forms as you're starting to do more and more sophisticated things in forms to bring content into SmartSuite. For those of you that aren't familiar with forms, allow you to take any information that you have inside of SmartSuite in a table and ask users to request to fill out information in a form external to SmartSuite. And as that information is entered and submitted, it then comes into SmartSuite in real time and updates things. This is an example of a team feedback and questions solution that quite a number of customers use to just collect and manage and respond back to feedback from people in their company. That's here. I'm going to click on feedback form, where we've set up a form here that when this form is completed, the information comes directly into SmartSuite. And I want to show you some of the new features that we've added here. And we have lots of new features coming for forms over the next 4 to 5 weeks as well. Those will be released one at a time. As they're available, we'll be making announcements here. So the first thing you see is we've added some information to the display elements at the top of the page. So you could include headings like I'm showing here. You can include paragraph text like I'm showing here. You can insert this data anywhere in a form that you want by just using drag and drop. So a lot of people like to include instructions that's included for a form inside of these. And then here are some of the newer elements that we've added. So you can see that we've added divider lines. So now you can break your forms up, not just with sections, but with dividers. But when you break up a section, you have the ability to actually control the color of the divider line. And you can pick a custom color or select from the predefined color options that are here. But you can also add text that is displayed in the middle of the dividers. If I click back off of this, that's here, if I close this, you'll see where the text is actually displayed in the middle. You don't have to have the text, so I can click and turn this off. That's here and just have a solid line that goes across, or I could click, turn this back on, add the text back. So it's just a different way for you to think about how you might want to break information up. Sometimes you want more of a formal section. Sometimes you just want a divider that has some notes maybe inside of the section. It's here. We also have a new video capability. So here's the video. We preload a SmartSuite video for you, so you have something on the form immediately to see how it works. That's here. But you can change this out by just putting in a URL to where you're actually have the video located, and then you can determine the height of the video. We set the defaults that are most commonly used, but if you want to stretch that or make it smaller, feel free to be able to do that. Again, you can organize this video anywhere or place it anywhere on the page. You can also use when conditions are met. So you could have when certain information is completed on a form, you could have a video at the end that could say, thank you for completing the form, hit submit to finish, or you could put something at the beginning that gives instructions on how to actually complete the form that's there. The next one is exactly the same thing that I just mentioned, but tell me I have invalid because I've turned on conditions. So let's turn that off. You have the same thing for images. So you can now include images anywhere on the page. You can have as many images as you want. You can determine how you want the images actually displayed on the page. Left, center, the image that I'm doing here is a banner, so it's spanning here as opposed to just taking up one area of the page. And again, you can determine the height and use the conditions elements as well. Next up, we have a callout. This is the same type of callout that is available inside of our SmartDoc field type. So you have the ability to pick from different color types that are here that show different icons that are here. And then you have the ability to use rich text to create any type of content inside of the callout that you want. And then if I preview this callout, on the page, you'll notice that we auto shade colors and do things for you right out of the box. So you don't have to worry about the background. It's all based on the color selection of the icon in the same way that we do our SmartDoc. That's it. Next up, we've added some options for our date fields, or added a option to our date field that now allows you to track time that's here. So the same as you have in any record. If you want that turned on, you just enable that. And now when a user's complete the form, they'll see the date selection plus a time selection if you wanted that. Duration field was something that had not been added, so that duration is now available as a field type in forms. And then we've added the ability for email and links to add multiple, and phone to add multiple entries. So prior you could just enter a single entry. Now if the field type is set up for multiple, it supports multiple entries right out of the gate. Color picker has been added as well. So if we go back here to preview, it shows the same exact color picker that you see inside of SmartSuite with the color options that you have that are there. And I failed to mention, nope, I think that's it. IP addresses are now supported and tag fields are now supported as well. I feel like, I'm missing one. So for those of you that are using our rating field, like here in the past, we had a drop down that just showed the number 1 to, in this case, 8. Now we use the exact same formatting that you see inside of records that are there. So what we're beginning to do is to really blur the lines between forms and pages in SmartSuite, in that they're going to have exactly the same types of capabilities that are needed. And you can determine when it's best to have a form with a couple of things to fill out versus a full page of information on a record page like we have. What's coming next in about a week, we'll be releasing CAPTCHA, and that you can turn on CAPTCHA when you want people before they could hit submit to verify that they're a real user that's there. We also have many updates that are coming to linked records and the selection of linked records that are there. So we'd be adding the ability to filter down the selections based on other field types. You'll be able to, when you open the linked record, display additional fields, not just the record name, to maybe put things in more context that's there, some dynamic selections, lots of fun stuff coming on the record side. Rick, are there any questions coming in on forms that I should answer briefly before I jump to the next feature?
Sure. You nailed the one there for David without seeing it, which is will we be able to add linked records to forms in the future, adding a contact, but they are a linked account. So you mentioned that is in the short-term horizon, correct?
It is. That's actually CAPTCHA is being completed right now. I would imagine it's probably going to be completed in the next day or two. And then we move into two parts with linked records. One is pre-filled forms, where you'll have the ability to send a form to somebody that includes information from a record that you already have. So they're not completing everything. They can update things that are there. And then with linked records, the ability to just have more control over how you display information to users and to limit the choices they see in the linked record dropdown.
Excellent. That answers that. And Caitlin's question, how close are we to being able to pass parameters via a button to a form to pre-fill it? So pre-filled. Yeah,
That's exactly what that is. And I'm going to show you some buttons here in towards the end so you can see all of that come together. But yeah, we're very close, August timeframe.
excellent. Caitlin, coming to a form near you very soon. Your other question here, can we get forms set up to where we can adjust the width of the screen percent? And just being so narrow on a browser view. Is there a way we can have them a bit more spread?
That is on the roadmap. It's not in the next 4 to 5 weeks roadmap, but let me look into that. That is not a huge request for you to be able to set that capability. So can Artem or Pete, can you just make a note for me so we can discuss this tomorrow?
Perfect. Yep, that's from Caitlin. And
Good.
Federico's asking if you could clarify, John, you mentioned multiple emails being able to be added to this. Did you also say multiple links if we're using a link
Correct.
field? Yeah,
Yeah, you can use email, phone, and the linked field now support. It depends on how you set the field type up. If you set it up as a single select or multiple select, but we take however you've set that field up.
got it. Christian's asking, last open question on forms, would it be possible to create a divider of sorts with the forms, like several tabs, for example, of forms?
Yeah, so that is on the roadmap. It's happening right after the linked record updates that we're making, and then that's called pages. So you'll have the ability to break forms into pages and to set links, which like tabs, which I think is what you're asking for here. You'll have control over if the user can only see the page they're working on and not see the next page until they click next, or if you want them to see all of the tabs and be able to click back and forth between them. So to be yeah, we're setting the groundwork for lots and lots of stuff coming with forms that are going to make it easier for you to request information. And you'll also have the ability to, forms will become quizzes so that you can request information in more of a learning environment and you can actually present a score at the end if someone passed or failed a particular test or quiz.
Perfect. We had two others trickle in, and then I'll draw the line there and we'll get back to the goodness. Forms
Okay.
specifically, both of these again. Caitlin's asking, is there a way in which we can show descriptions of items, let's say for single or multi-select fields, that we can pull that description into the form automatically?
You're talking about displaying the description that you've set for a field already, correct?
I believe that's the case. Yes. Let's say.
I can't remember right now where that specifically is at on the roadmap. I thought we already had that capability, but I need to check for the single and multiple select and status fields.
Yep. Okay.
But
Noted.
if that hasn't been done and I missed it, it is on the roadmap. I just can't picture where right now.
So those are both follow-ups for Caitlin. And then last one here from Dave Zobak. Nice to see you, Dave. Is the due date field available in forms? He sees the regular date fields, but due date as an option.
Um, I think so.
I don't believe it's available yet from last I tested it.
It is not. So there's two date fields then, date range and due date that are coming that's here. If that is something that you need, I can push that up in the schedule. If there's a need, you can use a date field and use an automation and bring the date into the due date fields currently that's there. So there's a workaround that makes it work, but know that the date range, due date, there's one more I'm drawing blank on, are on the list for the next 4 to 5 weeks as well.
Excellent. Okay, let's carry on.
All right, next up, let's take a peek at help text that we hear and go back in. So now you can go into any field type in SmartSuite. So I'm going to go into, this is like an assessment that someone is completing inside of SmartSuite that needs lots of additional information. You can see there's lots of information icons, meaning help text has been added and you wanted to display it as an icon. I'm going to open up the field settings, go to help text. You'll notice that you now have full HTML, or excuse me, rich text editing capabilities available for help text. So in this particular case, I've put in a question, I've made it bold, I've underlined part of it that's here. I can change the colors of things that are here. I've added numbers that are here. You could use bullets, and I've also included a link back to learn more. So you can really customize the information for your clients or the people in your organization on how to use a particular form or field in a form. And you have the ability to then determine if it's displayed as a tooltip, which we've always had, which means the eye icon is displayed next, and they just click on that. You can also say, I want to actually display the text. Always been there as well, but we're giving you lots more options. This one isn't a great example. It doesn't look great the way I've organized it, but I just want to just show you the capabilities that are there. And for you power users, if you know that you're in a form, you can just double click on the field name and open up the field settings that are there instead of needing to open the dot menu. And I'll come back into here and change this back to a tooltip. But if you're doing an assessment inside of SmartSuite, and a lot of times you'll need to have a field name and then a question that's under that, and then some more information. It's really handy to be able to see that. And Artem does a great job. If we go back to the what's new at SmartSuite, and you come down to the video, I get to it, maybe. Yeah, here Artem created a great video on help text and SmartSuite where he shows these options off, and they look much better than what I'm showing here. So please make sure you watch this video if you have an interest in using that feature, all the capabilities that are there. Next up, we have a couple of features that are available for our Pro and Enterprise plans that's here. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go into Workspace Administration. And the first thing that you'll notice is two-factor authentication is now available for accounts. If you want to enable and turn this on, just click on Edit. What this will do is it will require people to use some type of authentication program on the other side that will send them a note when they log in, and they will then have to use Authenticator to type in the code that comes back. You can turn this on for your account. If you want to turn it on for everybody, you just click everybody, but it's role-based. So if I want to come in and say, I only want my admins and my solution creators to need to use that, or I could say maybe just my admins and any guest that's coming in. So it gives you lots of configuration capabilities on how you can turn this on and off that's there. You'll also notice that we've added a new tab called Security here at the end. You'll start to see more and more capabilities being displayed inside of security. And in fact, the two-factor authentication and SSO will begin to be moved into this page over time as well. This first feature that we're showing here is IP address restriction. So you can come in and actually determine who can access your account based on IP address. So I can flip that on. The first thing that you'll notice is it says, hey, you have not included your IP address as a list of valid IP addresses that's here. So you can't set this up in a way that automatically logs you out and you can't get logged back in. But then when you go to add an IP address, you can add an address or an address range as we're showing right here. So in this case, I'm adding 192.168.0.0-16. So it means 0 through 16 are included. You can add as many of these as you need to. Please do remember that when you set up IP address restrictions, that this also relates to shared views and the shared dashboards I've just shown you, shared forms, anything of that nature is restricted based on the IP addresses that you put in here as well. All right. Um, Next one up, Communication Center connecting emails. This is a fun one as well. I'm going to exit out of here. Let's register. Oh, gotta look at my cheat sheet to tell me where I need to go to show some of this off. So I'm going to go into a record here. I'm going to click on the icon to go into Communication Center. I have email capabilities turned on inside of Communication Center. If you don't have it turned on in your account, you just click on Settings and you have the ability to enable the ability to send emails. What that allows you to do is to send emails that are tracked in the same way as comments. And any reply to an email is also tracked back in here. So it gives you the context of all communications in the context of the work you're doing, in this case, this particular record. What we've enhanced here is we now give you the ability to use your own personal email accounts, and we've added Google and Outlook are both now live. I've already set up my Google account, but if you needed to add it, you just click on Manage Email Accounts, and it just takes you through the process of you setting that up. It just takes about 20 seconds to do that. But now every time I send an email, it's coming from my personal account inside of SmartSuite that's here. You have all the capabilities that I could just send an email, or you could actually pull information from the form that's here into the email to create things. Most of the time that people do that, if you're doing that a lot, you want to set up a template that does exactly that. So it pre-fills information here. So every time you send an email, it has all the context and it just pulls the values and brings them directly in. What's nice about this feature is that anytime that there's a reply back to this email, it attaches back inside of Communication Center for you. So you see not just the original email, but you see the full thread of things that are happening. But the email is also in your email client as well. So you can go either place to see the context of the emails that are there. And again, if you're more information, look at the what's new on the video, and we step you through, Jeff does in this case, how to set that up in detail. All right, the next one is we've added Microsoft as a trigger. Microsoft Outlook is a trigger inside of automations, and make sure that everybody understands quickly how to do this. So if you come in to set up an automation inside of SmartSuite, automations allow you to set triggers. And based on a trigger, you can have a series of actions that you want to take place. You have the ability here to have Outlook and Gmail. So I'm going to pick Gmail because I don't have an Outlook account. So it recognizes that I've already set my account up, so I can select it from here. And now it says, okay, when an email comes into your account, let's narrow down what you want the trigger to be. So I can say, I only want things that come in that relate to billing statement examples. But then you can add conditions on top of that. So in this folder, it's only looking in this folder now that's coming in. Now I can add a condition, and it's telling me here's all the different data elements from the email itself. So if I could say the subject, and then I could say it contains, does not contains, is equal to, is empty, whatever that might be. I could type in what this is. Now, each time it comes in, we'll evaluate that. And if the trigger is true, you can then start performing a series of actions. What's most common is people are creating new records or updating records inside of SmartSuite based on email that's coming in to your inbox. But you can, most of you can have as many actions as you want inside of here and keep going down the list, and that you may want to take that and send it out as a Slack message or notify somebody in Twilio or send something to Salesforce. There's a lot of different types of actions you can take based on email triggers that are here. So this is a feature that's used by quite a number of folks. If you're not aware of this, it's something that you probably want to take a look at. It can really help automate, make your life a lot easier through that automation that's there.
John, if I could add to that one, and there's a lot of excitement and folks that have been asking for this for different use cases, such as automatic task creation, being able to use some sort of, let's say, support at company A email alias, the ticketing systems, it goes on, right? The ability to have that inbox, which is maybe a specific person's, or maybe it's a general one, capture all that, create records in SmartSuite, and then take actions automatically, opens up a whole new world. So I'm super pumped about that one as well.
Excellent. Next up, we have pivot tables, and we're now going to go through a series of features where I want to introduce you to some of the people on the team that are behind the scenes actually making these things work and working with me on that. I'm always the face, it seems, on what's new. We're going to change that a little bit so you get to meet some more people on the team. So first up is Artem. He's going to take us through pivot tables here. Artem, you want to share real quick? And
Yeah, sure. So maybe first let me introduce myself. So my name is Artem. I'm product manager at SmartSuite, and some of you might know me, some of you not. Anyway, pretty pleased to meet everybody.
Artem, where are you based?
I'm based in Portugal,
Yeah,
Silver Coast.
he's in a fun location.
Oh yeah, enjoying the ocean. Okay, so I'll be talking about two things today. First one is the pivot widget, and then the other one will be updates to the document designer. So the pivot widget. First, let me just explain a little bit what the pivot table is in case you didn't know. So pivots is a must-have tool when it comes to data analysis. And why is that? Because pivots allow you to take the data that you already have in any table and then start transforming it by applying various sorts, aggregations, counts, whatever, so that at the end you might reveal some patterns that your data has, maybe reveal some insights, and really take control over what you already had in the table. So in this example, I'm in the CRM solution and I have my quotes table, pretty standard. So every quote has an account link, it has a certain stage, it has a certain salesperson assigned to it. That's fine. But now let's see what I can do with a pivot table against this table. So I'll go to my dashboards and switch it to the edit mode. I already have a pivot widget, but if you want to create one yourself, you would of course go to the library, type in pivot, and there you have it. So once I switch to the edit mode, I want to take you through this settings panel first. So the first thing we need to do is define the source. So actually the table that the pivot would pull in the data from. And in this case, I have it set to quotes, right? And then the use case that I was trying to solve here is I was interested to see how many quotes I have by account, by stage. So the data that was already available and like sitting there, I wasn't able to see this type of view before. Now we can. So all we have to do is pick a field that defines the row, and it's an account in this case. And then we go and define a field that goes as a column, which is a quote stage, right? And you also see that both rows and columns have two additional controls that allow you to define the sorting. And two options here. You can sort by the group, which basically sorts it alphabetically. So A to Z or the other way around. Or you might want to sort by the value, and then those that have the highest count go on top, those that have the lowest count go at the bottom. Okay, then right now we're counting quotes, but this is not very useful. So we can go ahead and expand the summary section, which then allows us to pick whether we still want to count or we want to pick a field and apply an aggregate function against that field. So in this case, I will go for estimated value. And now you see the view changes. And now it calculates, in this case, it applies the sum, but I can also use max, min, and or average. And it sums up the amount of quotes per stage per account, right? Okay, so let me save it. And now I want to show you this last final thing. As always in SmartSuite, every cell is clickable. So you can drill in and really see, okay, for this swinging cradle account, what are my closed won quotations? Here you go. You can see the list. You can click inside each of them and see all the details. But not only that, down below you have totals per every column. Here you have the totals per every row. And then at the end, you have the grand total, and each of those cells are clickable as well. So you can drill in and analyze like endlessly. Okay, so that's the pivot widget. And yeah, of course, it can be shared. I think I already have one shared here. So that's the shared view. And that's how this pivot looks like. So very powerful tool. I know that a lot of people were waiting for it. So waiting for your feedback. Okay, and next on the list. So John, I'll just move on to my next topic, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Artem, are you happy to take a couple questions on pivot? It's a hot topic
Oh,
here.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. There's a few between the chat and Q&A. Folks, I'm manning both. If you could keep the questions in the Q&A, that would be great just to help us prioritize. Let's see. So Dan's asking here, is it possible to pivot against linked record fields?
Well, yeah,
Which it
that's
looks
what we're doing. These are linked
yeah,
records in this example. Yeah, absolutely.
very cool. Christian's asking, can you format the number in the pivot table, i.e. 1,000 separator?
Yeah, that's something that's coming. Yeah, we'll work on it and we'll add it very soon. Yeah, not yet there, but it's coming.
Good stuff. And then Caitlin's asking, can we get the option to download the summary list from a drill-in? Close one quotes for that company, for example.
No, not at the moment. And I think what we also have on the roadmap is the ability to then export that table and that widget. It's not possible at the moment, but yeah, another thing that we'll have to add.
Yeah,
Got it.
Caitlin, the ability to drill in and Artem, can you drill into one of these real quick just to show the concept? Yeah. So she's asking about can she export the content of this page? So
Yeah,
we
yeah, I get it.
we do have a feature request that's already on the roadmap to do this that would apply anywhere that you see this modal in SmartSuite. So the ability to do PDF, Excel, CSV, that. So that is on the roadmap. I don't have an exact date yet, but
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
once
Last
we're in
one here.
this model, just a reminder that we have this fields control here that allows you to actually pick the fields that you want to be displayed in this drill-in per this widget so that you can have the data that you need to have.
Very nice. Last one here to round it out. Rosen's asking, can you add an additional stacked column above? For instances, if you wanted to see by week and then by status.
Yeah, I saw it coming. No, right now you can only pick one field to be the row and then one field to act as a column.
Got it. And Dan clarified, by the way, the linked, his question, yep, understands that we can pivot by a linked record field. He's asking if we can do two linked record fields. So have both of the pivoted.
Oh, yeah, it really doesn't matter. Okay, if I have these are the columns, and then I think I have my, what is it, linked to sales team. That's another linked record. Oops. Yeah, like this.
Yeah, there you go.
So both of them are linked records.
Cool. There you go, Dan.
Does it answer the question?
I believe it does. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll let you carry on here.
Okay. The next topic is the updates that we made to the Document Designer feature. And for those of you who don't know, Document Designer is a tool that allows you to create custom PDFs and then apply those templates basically, and then apply those templates when you're printing your records. So the typical use case would be sales order, invoice, delivery note, all this type of things. So I have to access it, we need to go to the table menu, and then Document Designer is right here. I already have one pre-configured, and I would like to jump into the major update, I think, which is the linked records and the anchoring position. This is a quote that I've built for my imaginary bookstore, and I'm sending it to a customer. So you see all this customer information. Then I have a link record that is represented as a table. In this case, every line is a book that I'm selling with a quantity and a price. But people were struggling in the past was that every column had the same width. And then if you have something like description, it just didn't fit good enough. Right now, if you use the table mode for a linked record, you can go in here and define the relative width for every field that is displayed here. So first of all, you can choose which fields you want to be shown. And then, so it has six chunks. And then we see that the title is 3, so it takes the half of it. So that's how you can define which column has which width. So that's one thing. Then, as we have different quotes, let me switch to another one. You can see it has 3 line items. And we had some problems in the past where we wanted to display a total, like a shipping cost here or a grand total, below the table, so that this total properly reacted when the height of the table changed. So the way to do it right now is to use the new thing called anchoring position. In this case, shipping cost, I want it to be anchored to the field that is displayed above it. So if I click on a field, I will go, excuse me, here to the position. And now we have this new setting. And what we need to do is define the field that this field is anchored to. So in this case, it's quote lines. And we can also define the space between those fields just to make it look better, right? And same goes for this value. It's anchored to the quote lines as well. Then the important thing to understand is that every field that goes below it now needs to be anchored to the field above it. Yeah, so it goes a chain of anchors. And then if built correctly, whenever the height of this field changes, boom, you can see that everything below it adjusts and your PDF just looks nice every time. Yeah. Okay, and finally, I have two other updates. One is for the map field, or the address field rather. And you can see that we have now added a new display type. So if you click in here, you can say that the address needs to be shown as a map. It will also be printed. The map is not clickable, but still, it just adds a nice visual thing for it. And the last update is for the files field. And this is great because right now you can select whether you want, but first of all, it's based on the files and images field from the record. Then you decide whether you want to show the first image only or you want to show all the images. Now, if it's all images, then you can choose from multiple display formats here, like square thumbnails, or it will try to fit those images like this. So it really depends on what images you have. But to keep it short, you can control the height, you can control the layout, you can control the spacing of those images. And now the overall look and feel is, of course, a lot better and looks just more sophisticated. Yeah, and finally, I think we mentioned it in the previous update, but it just goes together with this whole thing, is that when I'm in my record, I can now go to the export to PDF, and I will have a list of templates that I have created. And then if I pick a template and click on it, I will get my record printed using that template. And this is how it all looks like. Very nice. All right. If you have any questions.
Oh, we
All right.
do, Artem. Oh, we do. Yeah. Do we want to continue on the? Yeah, it sounds like we'll have some extra time here at the end to go past the top of the hour. John, do you want me to tackle? There's 4 or 5 here, or I'll bring up some of these DocuSigner questions, or you want to carry on with the features?
Let's just do a couple now, and then I want to make sure we're able to get through all the content in case anybody needs to jump off, and then we'll make sure we answer them at the end.
Perfect. Okay, rapid fire on some of these here. Aaron is asking what options exist or are planned for Document Designer to include signature requests, so like DocuSign style.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out just yet. It is a request that we're getting. A lot of people use Document and DocuSign and other products that they're passing information to that actually include signatures from customers that come back in. We're trying to figure out how far we're going to go with that inside of SmartSuite as a capability. If that's something that you have an interest in and have existing use cases, we'd love to talk to you because we're going through just analyzing that right now.
Yeah.
Just a quick
Adrian,
note there, Rick.
please.
The signature field is actually supported. So if all you need to do is show a signature, that's possible today.
Yeah, it's the signing portion and tracking the signing that I was talking about.
Exactly. Adrian's adding on to that. So just to take note, having on the roadmap an invoice or document to be signed with sections, maybe multiple sections or signatures on that page is high on her list as well.
Yeah, note that you can attach this to a form and have the signature and everything happen through a form. And when you're able to pass the pre-filled form information, so the form could just be a link at the bottom for signature and it could pop up and bring in the quote number and things, and they can sign inside of a form. That will be coming faster than figuring out the signatures inside of Document Designer.
Nice.
If I can have a moment, I just realized I forgot two things because jumped into the linked record. So there are two more controls that we have, or elements. First one is an image right here up above. So as you can see, it can display an image. And to do this, you will need to feed it with a URL like this. And the second one is a link element. So again, you can provide a text that is going to be shown, and then you will need to provide a URL that will actually be clickable. And in this case, the customer can just click on this thing and be taken to my website. Yeah,
Gotcha.
thanks.
Which in theory could feed someone to a form if they want to proceed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's exactly what I was talking about, Rick.
Yeah. Good. A few others here. Caitlin's asking, once you set the anchors, can you group and lock them?
No, not at the moment. So you really need to do field by field. But yeah, I do see a need to select those fields in group and then anchor the entire group to another field or another group. Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. Question here around, will a long list, so let's say you're pulling in a linked record list, will it be able to span pages? I know the answer to this one is yes, and it actually looks
Yes.
beautiful in doing so. Give that one a try, folks.
Yeah, in fact, we built in better control over how much margin you have, so it breaks more nicely.
For sure. Josie's asking here, can we sort table columns in Doc Designer yet? I need my records to be sorted by date in an invoice.
Not yet, but we have it on the roadmap for sure. And it's one of the highly requested things.
Gotcha. Templates has come up a few times here. Carla's asking the concept of being able to pull in a template into a Doc Designer. Is that also something where I know we've got some good stuff in house that probably just need to productize a bit or templatize?
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
And
Rick, let's save a few for the end. I want to make sure there's some really important stuff we need to show off here in the next 15 minutes. I'm worried a little bit about the time, but we'll make
yeah,
sure if you stay after, we'll answer every question that we've got. So, Pete, let's jump over to Pete Novosel, our CTO, and Pete's going to show off heat maps here real quick. We've made some updates there.
All right. So this builds on a little bit what Artem was showing, just another way to visualize data. If you're not familiar with heat maps, what they are is really a two-dimensional view of data that uses color to highlight a value. So in this case, we're taking a look at one of the more traditional use cases in risk management, looking at the impact and the likelihood of a particular risk, and then colorizing based on the loss expectancy. This is just one example use case. You could also use this for sales information, showing things like region and salesperson or seasonal trends, those types of things. Just giving you another way to quickly visualize patterns in your data. So as you can see here, I've got this inserted in a dashboard. Just one quick note in terms of things that are yet to come, we have not added a heat map chart type specifically to the dashboard yet. So to embed these right now, just search for chart and you can embed an existing heat map. Again, that's coming soon. We're going to add a native one. But for now, you just go over and create a chart view type. And this is where you do all of your configuration. So these are pretty easy to set up, and we've added some what I would label quality of life improvements here, just in showing the labels for your axes. Before, without that, you didn't really have context for what these values were. And in a case like this, where you have similar values both on the X and Y, it would be a little confusing. What exactly is this? So here I can see I've got likelihood, and then I've got impact on the vertical scale. And that's all configured over here in categories. You can pick your field for x-axis, you can pick your field for y-axis, and then we give you the option on directionality of the sort. And here I want first to last for my likelihood, but impact, because it's going the other way, I want last to first so that I get my highest square up here in the upper right, typically, and then the lowest is down here in this particular use case. Then similar to what Artem was showing you in Pivot, you can pick your chart total. Here I've selected that loss expectancy and I've said max, but you could also do some, average, whatever makes sense for your particular use case. A couple of other things to note here too. You can use the dynamic filters where you can select another field to be able to limit down, hey, I just want to see this for qualitative evaluations. Just a nice value add there. Similar to, again, all of the other chart types, it's using the standard control where you can define your fields and click through, drill into the details directly. And that's about it. Rick, do we have any questions about this?
doesn't appear to be yet, at least.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, but hopefully these enhancements have made this quite a bit more usable. We are planning on continuing to make some enhancements here, giving you some different colorization options and that sort of thing. All of the risk management folks like to see this go from green to red, having static colors in particular cells and that kind of thing. So we're taking a look at all of those requests and putting together a feature roadmap to further enhance this.
But a favorite one from a sales perspective is just when looking at deals that are at risk, essentially. You're looking at timeline from one stage to the next stage, or how much of your current revenue is at risk, or project related project timelines that are being missed. Being able to see them on a heat map makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you, Pete. Appreciate you jumping into that. I think we're going to jump over to Volva next. He's got some pretty important stuff to show on automations. And Volva, can you introduce yourself? And Volva runs our automation capabilities and team. So maybe start with that and then just jump right in first to the comments feature. Volva, I think you don't have your audio on.
Yep, sorry, everybody. Hey, my name is Vova. I'm project manager in SmartSuite, and I wanted to share some of the automation things that we've introduced recently. John already shared quite a few. I just wanted to give a bit more details on the most recent things, which again were highly requested, so we're excited to get them done. And the things that I'm going to show are actually already live, so you can go ahead and try them for yourselves. I'll show you an example for the product development of how we use two features. One is adding a comment to the record. Another one is generating a PDF via the automations. So first, let's start with a comment. Pretty simple use case. I have some of the features here, and I have some of the bugs that we encounter during the development process. And all I want to do is I have a counter here, which links to the bugs field here. And I want to know when all the bugs are fixed. I want to know that the feature is ready for release. So how do I do that? Created a simple setup where, let's say, when this counter is equal to 0, so all the bugs are fixed, I want to create a comment for that particular feature that, hey, this feature is ready, someone's working on it, it was tested, we are good to release it to the customers. So let's take a close look at this create a comment setup. So you can see that you can use the fields from trigger like you would be able to use for any other action. And the things that we wanted to give you is all the options that you have in the field in the record. We wanted to give you all of those here. So you can see all the rich text editors options are available. So you can color things, style them as you want, and all of those are available. Another requested feature was to have the ability to assign the comment to somebody. You can do that in the record, so we didn't want to limit you here through the automation. So it is available as well. And then the last one, but not least, is ability to add the attachments. So you can either use the outputs from the previous actions here, or you can just upload some standard attachments, or you can use also the contents of your files and images field. So all of those are available. This is fully functional, basically has all the features that you would just in a record. So once we create a comment, I just wanted to update this record to mark the feature as complete. I also wanted to find some of the bugs that were related to this feature. So I just used the link record field, and I want to add the comment to those and assign them. And I also wanted to update the release date. So that's the plan. Let's get some action. So all I want to do here is see, I have 3 bugs here related to the comments, and you can see that the count here is 2. And we remember that the condition for the automation is when that count goes down to 0. So I mark all of these as complete. So let's see, the count went down to 0. So what I want to do is to add the comment to the automation, change the status, and add some comments to the box. So let's see, let me show you the comments. So you can see that everything that I was typing there in the action setup is available. We do have an image attached. It is assigned to me. So everything that you would be able to do here, you're able to do through the automation. And same thing for the bugs here. One thing I wanted to mention is that you can use outputs of the trigger, single find, or even the multiple find. So you are able to add comments to multiple records that you find. So that's just something small, but might be important for your use case. So that's the comment action. Any questions here, or should we move on to the PDF?
Let's jump to PDF because I think that's one of the more requested features, and I'm excited to show this off.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so we introduced some of the doc designers updates earlier, but this generating PDF through the automations was one of the highly requested features on our list. So yeah, we got it done for you. Let me show you here. I just have a simple set up. I call this invoices table, where I just have some billing amount. I created some billing template, not as fancy as the one that Artem showed you, but this is just for a different example. So I just have the invoice where I say, hey, please pay. Here's an invoice date, how much I want to bill somebody for, and see who verified this. So very simple template. I use all the data from this table. And let me show you, everything is going to be triggered when I just hit the ready to send, and then the magic will happen. But let me show you the automation setup itself. So what I want to do is, when invoice is ready to be sent, I want to generate a PDF. So what do we have here? The setup is really simple, but it's really powerful. So Artem showed you some of the templates, and we do have the ability to use those templates in the automation. So one option is just to export the record itself. So same as you would if you export a record from a three-dot menu. So that's available if you do not want to configure anything. You just want to quickly print a record and send it somewhere. So that's available. But if you do want to play around with the templates and make it more customizable, then you have those available. So both of these will be an option for you. Another small thing, but we wanted to make it nice. So we wanted to create the title that you would be able to configure. So not just say PDF from SmartSuite, but we wanted to give you flexibility. And you can, as you can see, you can use fields, for example, from Trigger. Here, I just have my feature invoice and a due date, but you can have the company name, the vendor, the amount, everything that you want is available here as well. So you'll be able to create a dynamic title for your PDF. So the most common use case is you create the PDF and then you just send it through email to somebody. Real simple, send email action. You can use Gmail, you can use Outlook. All of those are available and compatible. Most common use case is to be able to add this PDF as an attachment. So here you can use both, as you can see, the fields from Trigger, or that's the files and images field, but also you can use outputs from a generate PDF action, and that's how you add this PDF here. And then I also wanted to update the record to mark that invoice was sent, all the good stuff with the status. And then also we give you the ability to save this PDF to your files and images. So we want you to have, if you want to save it somewhere in SmartSuite, now you can. So, and then I just wanted to find the feature that invoice was sent for, and I wanted to add a comment there and attach this PDF to that feature as well. So really simple, really powerful. I just wanted to let you know, as an output of this generate PDF action, so you can have a file, but also in the update record, for example, you will be able to have a record, a PDF title. You can put a link to the PDF, or you can attach the file itself. So let's see how it looks. So I triggered the automation earlier, should have done that right now, but you can see that invoice sent was changed to yes. You can see that the PDF was saved to the files and images field, and you can pull it up and see how it looks for you here. I linked this to the feature. So in the comment, I should, yeah, here we go. As you can see, there is a link to the PDF, and you can open it, and it's going to be available for you in the new window. In case for some reason you forget to save it somewhere, you don't know where it was, you just want to have the PDF that somebody else sent through the automation, you can access that as well. So to do that, you just go to the run history and you open it, and then here you'll be able to see the link to this PDF as well. And it is, of course, clickable, and you can open it and download it for you later. So we just wanted to give you several places where you can save it, how you can find it, and just wanted to have those available for you. So yeah, that's the Generate PDF. Thanks so much. We're looking forward to your feedback.
Thank you, Vova. I just want to say that what Vova just showed is probably 10, 11, 12 different feature requests that we're able to take from different angles to package those up in a way that makes it really easy to you to use and to pull from the document designer that's in there and to add comments. Like all of those things fit together to solve the overall use case that's there. So this should be something that people that are sending and managing contracts and invoices and things with customers, quotes, that you want to set up. It's just going to make your life so much easier and be able to automate so much of the process for you. All right, I'm going to share. We're I know we're right at the time that a lot of you are jumping off. If you stay with me for 2 minutes, I want to show you just a couple of things that we're working on that are coming so you can begin to plan for that. So I'm going to start here, and I want to talk about where we're headed with kind of dashboards and the pages concept that I've been talking about. So this is an example of a new page concept that's going to allow you to include both structured data from SmartSuite from different types of views and dashboards with more pages type data that would look more like a website. So the first couple of things that you'll notice is that here I've included a banner, and I'll jump into that in just a minute to show you that. I've also included some tabs across the top with links with a button concept that's here. And in this case, I've also included some footer information on the page that's unique. If I click across these tabs, you can see some other elements starting to pop up with page headings that are available, or headings that can be placed anywhere inside of a page that's here. You have the ability to include filters so that I could come in and I could set a filter to control different views that are inside of this tab here. So if I wanted to say I only want to see elements where John is the risk analyst, you can see that it just changed the data elements in real time. That relates to all chart types and all view types that are available. You can have as many filters, you'll be able to have as many filters as you want, and you'll be able to set and define the type of filter that you want to make available that's there. And here you see the filters here under Getting Started Guide. This is pretty common. This is already capabilities here on the page, but that I've just taken a heading and I've centered the content that's here. And I'm just using 2 text area field types to display the content that's here. Frequently asked questions. We have new widget types that are coming out that include frequently asked questions, and you can have as many of those in different places as you want, so that if people are, it's more of a portal that's there, you can set up the types of questions and answers that you want to have displayed in a way that looks a little more interesting that's there. And if I, in this case, if I go in and I edit this element, you can see that I can define the questions and answers, but I can also pick styles. So I could have a single column versus 2 column. I could display in more of a list where everything's displayed versus an accordion that's there. So we're trying to give you not just a capability, but lots of options to customize the capability that's there. And here you'll see an example of including a form inside of a tab where I've included a heading at the top, a simple heading. This could be as simple as a quick add form, not just the feedback, but it could be add a new contact record and you only want to have 4 fields completed to add that's there. So forms and our native capabilities and tables are being merged, so you could use both together very easily that's there. To set things up like I've done on this page that's here, and everything I'm showing you is actually live. It's in testing right now. It's in alpha/beta with quite a number of partners and customers that have helped us work on this. But in this case, I went into settings, and you can see that I can add tabs and set those tabs that are displayed across the top, reorder those that are there. I could choose to display a logo, a bug image, any type of image in this location if I want, or I could turn that off. You also have the ability to have action buttons, and I think it was Caitlin that was asking about that earlier. This is a capability that you're going to see across every view type in SmartSuite, is the ability to add buttons. And when you go to add a button, you could determine, let's look at one that's set up here, this Contact Us. You could determine the label for the button. You can select the color for the button itself. You can determine the action that you want to take for the button. In this case, we're going to an external URL. And I'll tell you, let me add a new one so you can see the options that are here. You can run scripts. You'll be able to attach this to automations. You'll be able to attach this to internal things like print and export. So you can really customize how you want users to interact with data through the use of buttons that's there. And then obviously in this case with the link, I can say, do I want this to open in a new tab? We'll be able to open eventually in a modal over the top of the page. Just lots of fun stuff coming here. So that's, oh, and then you have the ability to have a footer in this case, if you would want, that's turned on. So you can see we just added a quick SmartSuite footer, included some information that's here. So you can pick a layout from something that's simple to something that's more advanced that's here. Add the logo, the links, the social networks, the tagline. So we try to keep it pretty simple for you here. And banners that's here. A banner just allows you to include an image or a color as a banner anywhere, and you can have as many of these on a page as you would want. So we give you rich text capabilities across the top where I could select different colors that are here, different heading styles on how I want to display that. If I look at the actual styling that's here, in this case, I've picked an image that's here. I could pick a color and I could pick what I want that color to be. If you want to add a new image, you just hover, it pulls right up from files and images. I'm going to pick, I'm not sure what this banner looks like, but yeah, just a light blue. You can see it uploads and changes things in real time for you. You can set, if you want this, how you want things to fill inside of the image that's here. And then you can add action buttons here as well. So I could come in and I could actually pick the size of the button. Maybe I want a large button, in this case, that says contact us. It does something. I want to add the button. Put in a URL in this case. And you can see it add the button. So you could add multiple buttons across these as well. I'm not going to save that. I just want to show you the capability that's there. And then you'll notice some interesting things with how you'll be able to move things around on the page. So just the way that you do today, you'll be able to drag and drop and move things around. We give you a new control that kind of pops up as you hover over each one. You just click to go into the edit element of that piece that's there, or a three-dot menu with additional options with copying, duplicating, deleting, those types of things that are there. I don't want to go, let me just tell you about a couple more things that have been highly requested that I'm not showing that's here right now. You'll be able to add a record selector on a page, very similar to the filter widget that I'm showing here, that will allow you to select a particular record from a table. And then you'll have the ability, what we call record detail, to pick the fields from that record that you want displayed. And you'll have complete control over up to 4 columns display, different display modes of how you want the information to be displayed below that. And you'll have the ability to determine if it's editable or if you could just view it. So really interesting use cases are maybe you want to include it, pick a company and include the company logo and some base information at the top, and then down below that, maybe show information in regards to opportunities, projects, those types of things in real time, but you don't want to show those in a table or a view type format that's there. So very powerful stuff that's coming that's going to allow you to build information, build views that are like pages on a website that include information from SmartSuite as well as more typical branding type elements on the page. All right, I know we're well over the time that's here. Rick, do you want to jump into questions that have come up that we haven't been able to answer just yet?
Yeah, let's do it. But first, a quick pause. We've got well over 100 people still involved in the call, obviously invested in SmartSuite, and we appreciate you sharing the time with us today. With the folks that are on the panel with me here, I'm not the product guy, and our product folks are doing some incredible work to hear what you all want and bring it into the product in the cleanest, most useful way, visually appealing ways possible. So if we could maybe get some love down at the bottom with the reactions and hit up the chat and all this. I know that you'll have been entertained throughout as we go here. That's what it's all about. Best product team in the business. With that, let's get into some of these questions here. And in the spirit of the Euro Cup and Copa America going on right now, we'll call this stoppage time. So we'll see what we get into. I'll answer a few of these as we go along. Most of this would be for you all on the product side. Shahan is asking, is there a way to use forms for approvals? For example, can we set up a workflow where an employee submits a leave request and the manager receives a link to approve? Absolutely, Shahan. We should chat. We've got actually several customers doing that exact thing right now in a really clean way.
Yeah, Rick, with the pre-filled forms piece, it's going to make it even more information on the form to make it even more relevant that's there. But yes, you can do that now as well.
Steve is asking, is SMTP email on the horizon at some point?
It's definitely been requested. So it's something I probably have half a dozen requests sitting in my Slack and email. So we're definitely going to talk about it.
Yeah, it's not on the short-term roadmap that's there, but if enough people vote for it, obviously it will move in there. Our short-term roadmap is 4 to 8 weeks, just to give you a sense of what that means.
Marcel is asking, will we have the ability to send email from an external email client to a specific ticket? If so, would that include attachments?
I think what you're asking for is the ability to send an email to a specific record in SmartSuite that you've identified in the email to do that. We can do that through Maker Zapier right now. It's a concept that we're looking at how to make that available in SmartSuite. So each record would have its own unique identifier, and as long as you send it there, we would know what to do with that. I need to think through a little bit with the new capabilities that we have with the Outlook and Gmail triggers and all the people. There might be a way to actually use the contains and do something like that right now. Let me talk with Pete and team about that, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, awesome. Sarah is asking, is there a way to bring an email into SmartSuite communication from Gmail, bring a full thread in, and then continue to respond in the communication center?
Right now, the thread has to start in Communications Center. So we basically track an identifier on that email. So if it starts, we can mark it, and then we can get anything that's added to the thread, whether it's added directly in the email client itself or through Communications Center.
Got it. Is that capability, let me continue on that thread, Pete, is that something that we are considering for future?
It really goes with what we just talked about and being able to identify something as being associated with a record. And I've got some ideas there that we'll talk about internally, and we'll figure out an approach for sure.
Excellent. Okay. Landon is asking, with the new email integration into comments, would it be possible to do a man in the middle type workflows through automations, such as you can do with Relay?
Yeah, so that's a concept that we're looking at and playing with right now. All these things that I showed you with buttons and things, all that kind of comes together with what's called human in the loop. So an automation will, when you click on a button, it will maybe perform an action, but one of those actions could be to pop up a modal and request information to be completed. And when you complete that and hit submit, it goes to the next step in the automation that's there. Relay has probably done the best job of human in the loop of any of the outside providers, and will follow their lead on capabilities that are there.
Nice.
In the immediate short term, you can do a very similar thing with just two automations. One, to get it to a point where you're looking at a table that has records that need to be completed. And then once that action's completed, you kick off the other side of the automation to finish up the task.
Awesome. All right, Mirit, is it possible to schedule via automation for email to kick off using a template in SmartSuite, using a date calculation trigger?
Artem Vova, I think the answer is yes, right?
So the template, I think we have covered exactly this, how you can utilize a template, and then if you would use something like a scheduled time, or if you just set up a trigger to fire when the date is whatever it needs to be, yeah, then it should be possible.
Yeah, because everything we showed is just an action, and the action applies to whatever trigger you set.
Yeah,
Nice.
the formula was mentioned, so you can use that in a trigger setup and be like, when the formula matches a condition, when the record matches the condition, and use the formula in the condition there.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Sarah's asking, is it possible to display an image in a linked record table?
Is the question like in the selector or?
Sarah, feel free to speak up here if I'm missing, but I imagine it's the linked record table. So the table view, right? In a linked record setting, a table view, is it possible to have an image field actually display the image?
You're stumping me on that one. I think the answer is yes, but let's keep going and let me play with something real quick to make sure.
Got it. Okay. Rich is asking here about shared dashboards, grid view from an iframe to add to the grid. So is there a way to force a refresh? Rich, I might need to circle back on this one just to get some clarity on exactly what you're asking for there. So we'll table that and we'll come back. Landon, in Doc Designer, is it possible to organize vertically as well as horizontally? For example, right now I put a barcode and a SKU identifier below the product name, and then I continue with quantity, cost, and total.
So you're saying vertically instead of horizontally?
Mm-hmm. Vertically as well as horizontally.
Anchoring only works vertically. So it pushes the content down, but it does nothing for horizontal movement. right now.
I think that's the question. So currently can't anchor horizontally. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Caitlin, once signatures are captured, can you trigger an email of signed documents? I think we went through that. Yeah. Once you receive a form or capture any kind of signatures, we can take the next action. So using that as a trigger for sure. And Caitlin's also asking about getting smart doc fields. How about getting smart doc fields in Document Designer? Use case, creating a more cleanly formatted procedure manual than just downloading a record.
That is definitely something we can look at that shouldn't be that difficult.
Okay.
Just need to, yeah, we can definitely look at that.
Rich is asking about, can we watch the generated PDFs to the record? So I think the automation action of generating a PDF document, is there a way that can be watched by other systems?
The generation process itself, I don't know that we've got direct access to it. I'd be curious what the use case is, though, so that we can think through it.
Yeah, Rich, for a few of these here, these are very specific questions, important questions, but let's follow up. We would love to share some time to dig in deeper on some of these ones with you.
Yeah, and Rick, I just wanted to confirm that, yeah, you can use images inside of the display of linked records in the different grid formats that we have available.
Excellent. Okay. Jenica is asking, when are these dashboard updates going live? You'll see some of them trickling through. As John mentioned, they're already in alpha, some in beta, but there's in waves. John, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, the big wave is going to come the middle to the end of August. So everything is interconnected. So you're just going to see a big group of things come with a big announcement. It's going to give, I know, hundreds and hundreds of new capabilities on the way you can configure things. So the next what's new will be focused just on the pages concept that I talked about. There's so much there.
Awesome. Mirat is asking, can we add custom colors and try to trace back to what we're talking about specifically there? I think, Mirat, if your question is for buttons in dashboards, not currently. There's a select set of colors to use there, but for the banner widgets, yes, you can absolutely add custom colors there and images and everything John showed.
Yeah, the buttons are coming with the ability they'll have predefined colors, and then you'll have the ability to click custom and set your own custom color if you want. That's there. We found that most people that we've worked with want those base colors. That keeps it very simple and easy to select, as opposed to needing to go into the color selector and enter something specific.
Mm-hmm. Matt's asking here, any ability to force users to log in before completing a form, which I think we briefly touched on, but we've got some, yeah.
Yeah, that is coming. So there's a couple of different ways you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to verify an email domain that's there. You'll also be able to use an authenticator code where it will send an email back to them and require them to then enter the code to move forward on the form.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Carla's asking if the tracker on the email let impact deliverability.
Shouldn't.
There you go. It shouldn't.
Yeah, we've been using that thousands and thousands of times, so I don't know.
It's just an ID in the header. So we're not doing anything to the email itself that should make it look suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Marcel is asking here, earlier this year, there was discussion about being able to produce time reports for time tracking log clocks for the purpose of aggregated time reporting by specific team members, a date range. Is that still in the near future? Trying to get insight into total hours by employee spent across all projects by week.
Yes, that is. I don't have a release date, but I can get back to you on that. But it will allow you to take anything that's in our time tracking log field type, and you'll be able to pull reports based on that data. So I think that covers exactly what the request was there.
Yeah, guys, but even now with the current formula capabilities, we can do some of that. So if you can, I will just leave my email in the thread and just send me questions wherever needs it, and I'll send you a video back explaining how this can be set up.
Perfect. Isaac is asking here, will you have the ability to sync the communication center between linked records? The basics of a CRM is to see all communications at every level.
We do not have, that's the first time I've heard that request that's there. Let me think about that for a minute on how we might even allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like an aggregated communication center. Yeah. Okay.
We definitely have the linkage information. It's just how do you show that in an intelligent way?
Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Isaac. Caitlin, how about getting okay, we answered that one. David is asking about movability of certain views like dashboards to other tables or solutions in the future. So an easy way to be able to take a dashboard and drop it somewhere else.
We don't have that on the short-term roadmap on what we're talking about for August, but what's happening with pages and dashboards in general is that they allow you to pull data from any solution or table inside of SmartSuite that you have access to that's there. And then everything that is shown is actually access controlled to the person that comes in as well. So the capability to do that is there, and you can duplicate any widget type, but we don't allow you to duplicate or move somewhere else right now.
That would be the one view type that could probably be done more easily just because it's already relatively independent.
We would just need to work on the UI for that because the capability is not the problem.
Got it. Okay. Tara's asking here, on authenticated forms, will the ability to save and continue from any browser be available?
It is on the roadmap, but it's not something that's in the next 4 to 6 weeks out. Yeah. Okay. Everything that I mentioned before on forms is ahead of that. And that takes us really through 6, maybe even 8 weeks before we move to the next group of form requests.
Got it.
But you already have this capability if you're using the same browser. So you can partially complete it and then come back to it.
That's right. Yep. Jim is asking here for increased importing capabilities from other tools. Jim, happy to hear that. Yeah, we have several available now. Let's be in touch and we can walk you through some of those and some of those capabilities, whether it's CSV or it's directly from another tool. We do have some options.
The Airtable importer piece is now live for all customers that's there. If that's what you're talking about, we're adding other direct integrations like that with pretty common products where you need to bring over large amounts of information very quickly. What that allows you to do is authenticate into those products, give us access to the specific, in the case of Airtable, the base or the table that's there. And then it allows us to bring that information in, field, structure, data, in some cases, views. It depends on what each vendor's a little different on the information they'll let us have access to be able to use in the integration that's there.
A few others here. Steve, card view widget still coming soon. How soon are we talking?
Yeah, that is coming out in August. It's a part of this large update that we're talking about with pages.
There's a question here about dark mode. I know that's an oft requested one, but actually a heavier lift than I think people realize. Any comments there, John?
Yeah, it's not on the short-term roadmap. Sorry about that. It's a massive amount of work for us to begin to go down that path. So we've got some other more requested features we put ahead of that.
Sheehan's asking here, is it possible to view a smart doc as a lookup field connected to a linked record?
Not yet. SmartDoc is one of the, I believe, 1 or 2 exceptions that we have to look up. Yeah.
Okay.
It's because of a massive amount of data that can be included in the SmartDoc that's there.
Yeah, imagine you have a project and a task, and every task has a description, and then if you do a lookup to every description, that would be a hell of a SmartDoc.
Sure. Flavia is asking here, or just commenting, I'd like the opportunity to use decibel number and value in the select type field.
Oh, so adding that in addition to just integers?
Yeah.
That's most of the use cases that we've come across, it just require some sort of a numeric value, and then it's processed by a formula with the numeric value function. So you can probably get to what they're trying to do. Shoot me a note with more details, and I would almost guarantee we can get to what you're trying to do.
Excellent. We've almost reached the end here. A few questions, actually, just a couple. Anonymous is asking, you showed the new automation feature with PDF attachment. Could we directly insert into the email a grid with the results of the trigger in the automation?
As in view or?
I guess including a table inside of the email is what you're asking?
I believe so.
Volvo, do we currently in email body, do we allow you to use the table format and then put cells, specific fields in the table?
Not exactly, because basically the email body is the smart doc. So anything that you can do in the smart doc, you can put in the email there.
So including the table capability?
I think you can embed it, but we don't give you the slash command right now.
Yeah, you cannot do that from the automation action setup.
So you can include, we'll get back to you on that, but you can include all the fields that you want. We just don't allow you to put it in a table format right now, but let us look at that piece because the capability is there behind the scenes.
Yeah. If you choose to de-anonymize and want to reach out to us, we're happy to discuss with you. All right, let's go. Last two here. Formula formatting. Is that coming soon? Jeff asks.
Yeah, that is on the short-term roadmap. We understand the urgency of that.
Yeah, awesome. And Mirat's asking, is there a way to access the email template area without going into a record?
No, you have to go into Communication Center, but you can go into any Communication Center to pull up the templates for that table.
Got it. Okay. All right. There's a few other here. And Rich, you're pumping some good questions in here. I think we want to consolidate these and get some time with you because these are a bit of meatier things to dig into. Going to just pass these momentarily, but we should definitely be in touch. With that, we've reached the end, up on an hour and a half here in the session. John, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to appreciate everybody for staying so long that's here. Keep the feedback coming. You can go into our feedback solution. That's something that we look at every day where you can look at feature requests that other people have did and vote on it. We pay a lot of attention to that and then make sure you add your own feature requests that are there so we can track them behind the scenes. But appreciate your time. We're really excited about what's coming out in August. It's really going to change the overall capabilities of SmartSuite and how you can present data back to your user community.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Just as always, copy of this going out to all who signed up. So you'll be able to get the recording and go back with popcorn and rewatch anything you may have missed. But thanks again for staying extra here.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Here's all. Take care.